Of all the stories of heroics from World War II, you've probably never heard about the group of American men who saved tens of thousands of lives without killing anyone. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. That special unit is now known as the Ghost Army, a government operation kept classified for decades. So top secret, most of the men who served in it took their hidden mission to their grave.
Reporter Kristen Crowley sheds light on the little-known unit that used deception, creativity, and bravery to help win the war.
This was called an Ike jacket because Eisenhower designed them.
Only a few mementos of the late John Joseph Williams remain from his time in World War II. His son John and grandson Michael cherish the small collection.
When I was a little boy, I played with this stuff. I would wear this thing when I was a little boy.
But what they value most aren't his things from war, rather, his stories.
He was at Omaha Beach. Grandpa drove a truck or a Jeep through the Arc de Triomphe.
He did tell me about D-Day, not terribly graphically.
So your dad was pretty open about his time in the
Oh
military?
yeah, he loved to tell stories. The fact that he was able to hold the ultimate secret that long was always astounding to me.
The ultimate secret John's talking about was held from the world for decades. Williams was part of a highly classified group of soldiers tasked with fighting the enemy, not with weapons, but with deception. Their tanks, guns, and planes were all fake, made of inflatable rubber. Their name? The Ghost Army.
This is the story of a World War II deception unit that used inflatable tanks, sound effects, and illusion to fool the enemy on the battlefields of Europe.
Author Rick Beyer wrote a book about the Ghost Army, captivated by their unique war story. He says members were handpicked based on high IQs and artistic talent, crucial to pulling off the deception.
And they're under fire, and yet they're using inflatables, they're using sound effects. They are playing make-believe, for heaven's sake.
Through more than a dozen missions, they made the Germans believe there were tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of soldiers in one area, oftentimes leading the Nazis to retreat, when in reality, the Ghost Army was no more than 1,100 men.
So the concept is to make something very small look like it's very large.
Yeah, or make a unit look like it's in one place when it's really still back on the ships unloading, 200 miles behind you.
The Ghost Army was kept classified until 1996. And that's when the elder Williams was finally able to share his whole war story.
What they had done had never been done before in warfare, and they were very successful. And I'm not even sure if Grandpa truly understood how big it was. I would love to know if he did, but I doubt it since he was top secret for 50 plus years.
Now their missions and accomplishments are no longer a secret. Quite the opposite. They're on full display for all to see at a traveling Ghost Army exhibit.
So does this actually look like what they looked
So
like?
yeah, this is an M7 Priest, and it looks pretty much just like the inflatables that they had, although this one's about 3/4 of actual size.
It's in good shape for being in a
I know.
basement.
That's because he wouldn't let anyone touch it.
Ghost Army descendant Karen Skiba donated her father's jacket to the exhibit.
He told me once if they were found, he always carried dynamite in the Sonic truck, that if they got close enough, they would have had to blow up everything.
Karen's dad was a sonic half-track operator, faking sounds like these with a giant boombox. Karen says her father wasn't just proud to fool the enemy.
He didn't ever have to kill anybody or even shoot his gun. His job was to save lives, both American and German lives.
It's estimated the secret unit saved up to 30,000 lives, and the enemy never discovered them.
I wish more people would get to know about the Ghost Army. They've saved so many lives, and no one really knows what they did.
Until recently, Randall Schrader was one of them.
I just loved him. And I miss him. But I get emotional also because I feel a little badly that I let so much time go by where I didn't really pay attention to what he did.
His father, Colonel Edgar W. Schrader, was a Ghost Army vet. Randall didn't realize that until a few months before coming to this museum in St. Louis.
Is it turned on? Yeah, I think so. You think so?
He started connecting the dots when he rewatched home video of his dad sharing his war stories, talking vaguely about the Ghost Army, never mentioning it by name.
Bunch of malarkey. I didn't see how it would work.
So he goes in thinking this is a bunch of malarkey. What did your father think after he had served with the Ghost Army?
He acknowledged that it worked, you know. His initial notion that it wouldn't work, he changed that.
When you walk through this exhibit, what do you feel?
Joy and sadness at the same time. Joy that the word has finally got out about the Ghost Army. You're gonna make me cry. And sadness that my dad, that my dad can't be here to see it.
Most of the Ghost Army vets will never see it. All but 5 of them have died. But their stories live on in this exhibit and through their families.
While they were just sitting there acting like they were a bigger force than they were, his dad found a hilltop to get on and he could get a radio signal, and he listened to the World Series while they were doing that.
They're deceiving the enemy
Yeah.
with these fake tanks
Yep.
and these fake guns, and your dad is listening to the World
He's listening
Series.
to the World Series, yeah. But you had to know Dad.
And now the world can know his dad and so many others who made a difference in the war, who are no longer the hidden ghosts of history.
Many families felt their loved ones didn't get enough credit for what they did in the Ghost Army. So they, along with Rick Beyer, pushed Congress to give them special recognition, and it worked.
At this point, I would like to invite, finally, so that we can all honor them appropriately, the 3 veterans to the stage to accept this medal on behalf of all members of the Ghost Army.
On March 21st, 2024, Congress awarded the Congressional Gold Medal to the Ghost Army. It's the highest distinction it can bestow. 3 of the Ghost Army vets were at the ceremony in the U.S. Capitol to accept the medal.
I'm very proud and happy to be here to receive this honor.
The families we spoke to got replica medals from that day, one of the only mementos they have of the Ghost Army, because the top secret nature of the unit kept veterans from having any items related to it.
One of the reasons the Ghost Army stayed classified for so long was because of its success. The military thought it could be useful in future wars.
Another interesting fact about the Army, many of the artists recruited to help pull off the illusion went on to become famous after the war, including fashion designer Bill Blass.
For more information on the Ghost Army exhibit, visit investigatetv.com and search Ghost Army.